Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third webinar of the Managerial Skill Series, Leading versus Managing People. Here is Lau, your MCP, and today we are going to discuss a little bit about leading people and managing people and what it takes for us to get there. So before getting to work, I wanted to set with you a couple of expectations for what you're going to take out from this webinar and what you need to do during the webinar in order for you to take the most out of it. So the first things we are going to discuss is the understanding the differences or some of the differences between leading people and managing people. The second thing in how things is how do we actually apply it to our ISEC role, all the things that we need to do, and what kind of impact will this generate if we are doing it at the right time and we are doing it the right way. This is something you would take out, something we will be discussing during the webinar. And the expectation from my side, I have actually a couple of things to ask from you. First is to have a piece of paper and a pen with you, because I will make this webinar interactive in order for you to get the most out of it and to take out things for yourselves, because this is the main purpose of it, and to actually be involved into the process. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that you will have to answer for yourselves, and I will give you a couple of things to do during the webinar in order for you to reflect over the things that you were doing in terms of leading and managing the people and what it takes for you to be better at what you're doing. So, yeah, this would be the expectations from my side. So I would say to get on it. First thing about leading versus managing that I should mention is that, and the differences between them is that there are a lot of differences, coming mainly from the fact that there is no static definition of leadership and static definition of management, because there are a lot of definitions and it comes from how people perceive it. But we are going to discuss about some main ones that can help us to understand what we are doing right now at ELCs and what we should do. So. Let's discuss about these differences. First, in leading the people, you give yourself and your team space to innovate and invent when it comes to what you're doing as a team and what you're striving for. And at the same time, managing, it means that you organize, that you have a couple of people, a couple of processes that you have to get done, the goals to achieve, then you organize the people in order to do that. Um, the second thing here is that in leading people, you need to inspire trust, trust in you as the leader of the team and trust within the team members. And these kind of things can bring a lot of performance and can bring a lot of good things to the team. But at the same time, in managing, is mainly what you're doing is to control the processes. Exactly what I was telling you about organizing is when you have the processes that you need to do some steps to achieve a goal, um, is basically controlling if see to see if everything is going according to the plan. And one of the main differences is what kind of language and what kind of questions are you using while leading people and while managing the people. In leading the people, the main questions that are driving and that should drive us as leaders of the team is what are we actually doing and why we are doing it. And being a part of ISEC, we know that is quite important to know the why behind what we are doing and the purpose of the organization and purpose of our work. And this can offer people clarity in order for them to do the job right. On the other side, managing people is how we are doing the things we want to do and by when. It means that we have concrete deadlines, and what we are asking to our people is how do you want to do this and what is the deadline. And these are like the main things that we are asking managing the people. Another thing about leading the people is that we have a long-term thinking, is that we are thinking beyond our term, or we are thinking beyond of our team and of the things that we want to do, and we are also considering a lot the future. But in managing, it's that we have short-term goals and we are thinking about how to get there to achieve the goals, not exactly like what we can do more to support the future generations. In leading the people, you create a vision. a shared vision among the team and among the team members that will drive their actions and everything. But in the part with managing is the fact that we create goals. We have this exactly what I was mentioning, short-term goals that we are going to strive for, and this is how the team is mostly working toward creating these goals. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that in leading people, you build relationships, and it's something that you should invest time in. Relationships between you and your team members, and relationships between the team members themselves. Doing these things and investing some time into building these relationships, it can save you a lot of time from actually putting the people together and making sure that they can actually work together. So if we do this before, our work will be a lot easier. But on the other side, in managing the people, we actually build systems and processes. Again, emphasizing on processes, because it's mostly about like how and when we are going to do the things, and what are the systems that we are using, for example, for tracking the people, for educating ourselves and the team members, and so on and so forth. So these are the differences that I wanted to get you through. Why? Because mainly these are the things that we are kind of doing or not doing properly at this point in time in our organization. But I think that we should look the most is how we actually use this as a catalyst for enabling the experiences we want to provide and actually getting the results we want to get. But anyway, there are many other differences, and if you're interested in talking more about them, you can reach out to me, and also like search for some education materials. But one question I wanted to ask you at this part is it really a versus relationship between this leading and managing? Why we say versus? And this gets me to the next point, is that there is no versus. That here in ISEC, I don't really believe that everything can work well if we are not really doing some of the things from both. But again, we should be focusing more on this part to get the results from here. But yeah, the main idea here is that there is no versus, and we are actually going to talk about leading and managing the people. But to show you from my own perspective how this is really happening is that we in the organization, we are leading the people and managing the work that we have to do. And this is exactly the topic that we are going to discuss the most during this webinar. But before getting to exactly what are the things that we should do to make our work better and to achieve the results while leading people and developing everyone around us, I wanted to discuss with you some common mistakes that we are doing in our organization overall, and we can see even now in our entity, and we can see even more than previous years. So, um, as you can see here, there are two things. First is being strategic and using strategic management as leadership bodies of the entity, and being focused on people who are doing that. And the other thing is being very operational and focusing mostly about operational management and results focus, which, as you can see here, this is less seen in our organization nowadays, and being operational and focusing on results is more common. And my question for you here is why? Why do you think we are becoming less strategic and less people oriented, and we become more results focused and operational focused? Here, attention, I'm not saying is the wrong thing, but I'm saying that to discover which should be our main priority that would get us most of the results. Is it this that gets us most of the results, or is it this? My perspective and how it should be is that if we are more strategic and we put the people first, can bring us more results on a longer run, and also creating the pipeline of the organization. But here, the first thing that I wanted you to do is first discover for yourselves, write down, take your pen and paper and write down which area do you think you are right now. You are more strategic and focused on people, or you're more operational and focused on the results that you have to achieve. This is one thing. Um, which of the sides do you think you are and why? Then after you have the answer for yourselves, list down the reasons why do you think is it like that, from your own understanding of your JD, from your own understanding of the current reality in your LCs. List down the reasons why do you think is like that, and then we can continue with the webinar. Once you do that, figure out exactly what do you think it takes from you to be more in this side, being more strategic and more focusing on leading people, on people themselves. And what do you think it takes from you to get there? And then we are going to discuss more about how we should actually do these things. So take 5 to 10 minutes, write down all these things, and then we will continue. Now, to understand exactly how we can do all these things in order for us to be effective in what we are doing and also leading the people in the right way, and managing the work to make sure that we achieve our goals and the plan fulfillment will not be a problem in our entity while developing and leading the people around us. One of the first things you need to pay attention to is the education of our people. Once you become a team leader, once you become an EB member, an LCP, you need to figure out the gaps in the education of our people and invest some time in preparing them for what is about to come. Once they are prepared, their work will become easier and and it will be more enjoyable. One of the main things that I will highlight for the whole webinar is how we actually allocate the responsibilities to our people in order for them to get the ISEC experience we promised them in the beginning, and in order for them to develop as individuals. Because at the end of the day, this is what they join ISEC for, and it's up to us to provide them this development. So set the goals with them and make sure they know how to get them done. One thing to underline here is that doing the things yourselves, the things you have to do, will not help anyone. Will help you and the team and maybe the LC on a short period of time, very short period of time, but on a longer run, this will not make sense. In order for your people to develop, in order for your people to actually feel the ISEC spirit and feel the ISEC experience, for them to actually do the things that they need to do, term. Please, thing that you need to team leader and as an EV member and maybe future LCP is make sure that the team has a clear purpose and you remind them all the time. This comes with the fact that we need to keep our people going, and in order to do that, we need to have a purpose of what we are doing. Regardless of being an EB member or a team leader of an LCP, you need to have a purpose. Your team should have a purpose, and you need to remind them all the time what is that and how it helps us. Challenge people to think. Again, coming back to the point that doing the things yourselves is not the right way. Here, providing all the solutions yourselves to the team and the people around you is not the best solution as well. You need to challenge your people to think about solutions inside of the team. Challenge people to think about new ways of doing the things. Challenge people to find what is the bottleneck and to think how to get it better. And in this way, they will feel engaged, and this will lead you to a much better experience and productive team. So pay some attention to this aspect when you're leading the people. Support innovation in initiatives. Ask people for answers and solutions, and let them test their solutions. Exactly what I was saying before. Support people in coming with new ways of doing the things and the new initiatives of getting the things done, and support them in that. Um, and let them test what they're coming up with. And if they fail, let them fail fast, and then try again some other things they came up with to make it better. There is no shame in that. We are here to learn, and if we have to fail, let's fail fast and then figure out how to do it better next time. Make sure your team has a focus and is crystal clear. Comes with a purpose. You have a purpose, and in order to achieve your purpose, we need to be very focused about the things that we have to do and make sure that it's very clear for all the people in your team what are these focuses about. Um, Here, I will not tell you what should be your focus because you know what you should do as team leader of your FA or of your team. So make sure that your team has clear focuses for them to work, not to run around as like very randomly. So pay some attention to that. Provide feedback. This is one of the things that we need to use a lot in order to improve ourselves, to improve our work and our teams. Um, be careful with providing feedback. You need to make sure that you give the right kind of feedback. And if you feel that you're not good at it, ask for some help and try to get some education about it. Feedback can be one of the most important things inside of the team in order for the team members to improve and also the whole team to perform. So pay some attention on that. Get some Set some feedback spaces with your EBs, with your team members, with your team leaders, and everyone which that can be a part of your team, in order to give effective feedback, in order for the team to move on with the things you have to do and to do it better. Invest as a team leader and as a leader. Invest time in relationships and behaviors and attitude. Building the right kind of relationships inside of the team and setting the right mindset, attitude, and behaviors can do 80% of the job for you. Because the people then they will feel confident, they will be enjoying working with the people and enjoying being a part of the team, and they will do things differently and better as before. So figure here the first step to do that is know the people you're working with and see how you can create a relationship with them and how to build this relationship inside of the team. It's very important in leading the team to have these things inside of the team. So pay some attention to that. Recognize and celebrate achievements and people. We need to understand that the current generation in our current context, the feeling of being successful and the feeling of achievement is a very powerful one. And this is something that we need to keep us motivated to do the things we have to do and keeps us going no matter what kind of bottlenecks and what kind of obstacles we are having in our way. So recognize and celebrate the achievement, recognize the people for what they're doing, and make sure that you celebrate together. And here I'm not saying to throw a big party for that, but figure out your own way how it will be good for you and your team. Um, for the part of leading the people, these are a couple of things that you can start doing now in case you're not doing, and that can bring you a lot of results. Again, again, highlighting some main things. Make sure that you allocate the responsibilities and you help your people getting there, because in this way they will develop and the organization will grow. Make sure that you challenge the people inside of your team. It's good for their development, because at the end of the day, these people will be your successors. These people will be the future of the organization. You need to make sure that they are well prepared. And another highlight is to invest a lot of time in their education, relationships, and behaviors inside of the team. But of course, every single thing from here, first you should come from you, and then putting it inside of your team. So think about this. Um, these are a couple of things that you can start doing, or reviewing how you're doing right now and how to get better. And then when it comes to managing the work, it's basically performance management. Um, Now there are multiple types of performance management, and how do you manage this as a team leader? But I'm going to give you a couple of basic things that you can do with your team that can really ensure that the plan fulfillment is there and that you are progressing as a team. Therefore, the LC is progressing as an organization, and then ISEC for the Czech Republic will progress as well. So let's move on, but in mind, because we are going to get get back to them soon during this webinar. When it comes to managing the work, to be more precise, performance management, there are three basic things that I wanted to get you through with this webinar. Or I would say three basic steps. First is plan, second is track, and the third one is review and evaluate. For the planning part is to make sure that your team has a clear plan broken down on goals. This is very important. This is something which should not be missed whenever a team starts working together. So make sure that your plan is well defined, and if it's not, please define it as fast as possible. Again, highlighting divide the responsibilities accordingly to the team members for them to know what they are doing, how they should do, and why they're actually doing it. And as a part of the planning is also to plan the way of tracking the objectives. And this is very important not to leave the planning stage without knowing how exactly am I going to track this plan. And then this gets us to the second step, which is the tracking part. After you have the plan on how to track, then you need here to see what kind of tools you can use, what kind of channel you're going to use for communicating with your people, and how often you're going to do it. Because some people expect more tracking, and some people need more tracking, but some people are more independent and they don't need a lot of tracking. The idea is not to generalize. Don't assume that the whole team should be tracked very closely or the whole team is very independent. Don't assume. Get to know the people, see how they're used to work, and then you adjust your way of tracking based on each individual in your team. Reminding and monitoring if the goals are being met. As well, make sure that you give some reminders of the things that you have to do as a team to progress on the plan, and to all the time check if the goals are being met. And this brings us to the third point. And if the goals are not being met, you need to take some actions and make changes if it's necessary. It's a part of tracking and what kind of output you want to get from tracking. If the plan is going on the right way, it's obvious that you're doing something good over there and need to keep it going. But if the plans are not like the plan is not going according to your wishes, then don't be afraid to take some actions and make changes if it's necessary. Might be changes in the way you're working, changes in the way you're doing the things, but usually this doesn't mean that the plan should be changed. There's definitely that means that you need to figure out new ways on how to reach the plan. What kind of changes do you need in order for you to get back on track with your goals? Then there is the part with constantly reviewing and evaluating the work you're doing as a team, and also you as a team leader. First is run performance reviews and evaluation. How this should be done, you put what is the plan and what is the fulfillment over a period of time. It's um, it should be monthly and even less if you feel the need to do so, but have the clarity over what was the plan and what has been achieved, and don't leave the topic open. Find always a solution and improvements. There will be always something that you can improve, and don't leave the topic open. Always come out with the things that you can do better and what you should happen next month in order for you to be better as a team. And the third thing is set the plan for the upcoming period of time. Once you've evaluated this month, how will the next month look like? What we need to do the next month in order for us to be better. And this is one basic example of how we can manage the work of our teams. Um, yeah, it shouldn't be that hard, but um, one thing is just do it. Find some time to do that and do it with your teams, and also revisit all these things we were discussing here about leading the people. And talking from experience, if this thing here is done properly, this will be this 20% that you're doing as a team leader that will bring you 80% of the results. So think about that. Now, what's next? Again, grab your pen and paper because you're going to have again some work to do. Determine where you want to improve as a leader and as a manager. um, for yourselves. For yourselves, like how do you perceive yourselves now as a leader of your team, and what are the main areas of improvement? Mainly about the things we were discussing here. Get to the things we are discussing and see which one you're doing good right now, which ones you should start doing, and which are the things that you should do differently. So get again to this list of things that we were discussing about, and set for yourselves uh, where are the main areas of improvement. Focus on yourselves. Once you're doing that, make sure that you make a plan for you, like how exactly you want to do that. And this brings me for outline your vision and goals. On the same piece of paper, outline again your vision for your term as team leader and your goals. And some of you will say, again, I have done that and I know my vision and goals. Yes, do it again. This is something very important because sometimes we forget the vision and we focus a lot on our daily work without paying so much attention about our vision and goals. So outline them once again on the piece of paper. Then what you should do after you have all these things clarified is talk with your team. Talk with your team that this is our vision, this is our goals, these are the results until now, and let's see how we can get better in that. But in order for you to do that, make your own leading plan. What I mean here is, based on the things we're discussing here, is to make for yourselves how exactly am I going to lead my team from now on, with the accent of lead my team from now on. Because what we were doing so much until now is just we were trying to manage the work, but not actually leading people that much. Um, and we need to remember that people should come first, because at the end of the day, the results come from people. So how exactly um, can I improve the way I lead the team, so the results of my team will be visible, and also my team will be highly motivated after that will happen. And ask for help if you need. If you need to talk more about this and how you want to improve and how to implement some of these things, you can reach out to me or to your coach, or you can reach out to people that you know they can help you. So take for this exercise over here around 15 minutes, and then debrief it with yourselves, like how do you want to live to lead the team from now on. There is still time, and I'm pretty sure that you're doing a lot of these things already, and you're doing good, but always can be better. So how you can do that? One of the things that we should discuss inside of our organization and also inside of your EB is how we can move from here to here and how we can make it work. So have this conversation within yourselves and within your EB team on how to move there, and what is our leading plan from now on, in order for our people to be highly motivated to achieve, and they will be developing themselves as individuals. Okay, good. I hope you were good students and you were getting through all these steps I was getting through with the piece of paper in front of you. And I wanted to let you with this thing. Don't forget to delegate and help your people to achieve their goals. Once they start doing that, they will not stop. Make sure that you help your people to develop themselves and to achieve their goals, because they will feel successful. And the feeling of achievement is a very powerful one. And once we taste that, we will not stop. I will all the time tend to do more and more. So think about that. Thank you very much for watching this webinar. I hope it was useful. And don't forget, if you have additional questions or if you want to talk more about some certain topic, you can always reach out to me. You know where to find me, with email, Slack, Facebook, phone, whenever you feel like reaching back to me, please do it. If you have questions, if I can help you, I would be more than happy to do that. Thank you again for watching, and waiting for your questions if you have some. Enjoy the day.